Attention! All things shared in this video are simply the opinions of the Unexplained Files. The following footage is not tampered with, and all of the events and reactions are unplanned and genuine.
See, if we die, that's where it happened, right? Remember that sign, because this is where it went wrong.
Sorry, right. I've got the giggles now.
Good evening, everyone. You join us again for yet another investigation. We've been able to get out on a few this last couple of weekends now, which is good, because there was a good time where we didn't get out for any. But today we are in a World War II lookout in a place called Westward, a town that I grew up in, and we're going to take a little bit of a look around the area to see if there's anything going on. There's some cool history here. We'll put some B-roll shots in and some facts about the place in editing, so you'll be able to enjoy that if you haven't already. And now that we're here, I say it's time we get into tonight's investigation.
Okay.
Chill here, and then you'll just see me.
Right, so there's one right there.
There's one to my left. Yeah, to my left. Oh my God.
So if there's anyone here with us, maybe you used to be on lookout here in this watchtower, can you let yourself be known by lighting up any of these devices for us, please?
We've seen one of our devices go off a couple times now. If that was you lighting that up, would you be able to do it again for us?
When was you here? Was it during World War One? I know they used to keep prisoners down the bottom there by the Seafield House. Italian prisoners. Maybe you was a prisoner at one time. I wonder if any ever escaped and just kind of ran up into the hills there to try and get.
I don't know.
Because when they say on the ground, I don't know whether they mean inside that walled bit or just if I think that. They made that whole field. Like
it's not a very big space. So I can't imagine you could really keep a lot of people there. I remember, I don't know if you made, on your channel, I don't know if you made a video about this years ago. I feel like I remember something. And
yeah, because I did
something
the history of Westwood.
Yeah, Seafield House, right?
Yeah.
And I remember there being talk of that's not fucking out, I'm still I hope. I remember there being talk of prisoners of war, and I thought to myself, where are they keeping them? Because that field would not be able to keep anyone, really, unless they fenced the path and the front. I mean, no one's jumping off the side. I mean, maybe, but
yeah, who knows what was there back then.
I thought it was quite mental that they did that full stop. I didn't know anything about that. It's not really talked about. I wonder if then it was the wind that knocked that, because it did go off a couple of times, I think.
Well, the breeze, I don't know about up here, the breeze is coming through this door.
Right.
And it is sheltered behind this wall, so I don't know if there's... I feel breeze coming through there, so maybe if I move it more central.
Yeah. See if you can rest it on the button as well, because that tends to help.
Right. Hopefully that shouldn't move now.
Unless a ghost moves it.
Yeah.
Could you light up any of these devices for us? You're keeping a watch. Are we supposed to be here? Are we allowed to be here?
Ooh.
Thank you. Thank you for lighting that up for us.
Can you light any of the other devices up as well?
We don't mean any harm. We're just here to document the space.
Yeah, we don't mean any disrespect. We're just here to see if you're able to communicate with us, and then we can share that with other people to let them know that you're here.
If you are here, why don't you come stand next to the device with a green light on it? If you stand close to that, the lights will start to flicker, then we'll know you're with us. I know in past videos, one of the issues we've had, not issues, but one of the things that we've noted is that only one seems to go off. Like, I know in the last video we filmed, when we put down the two cat balls, the one on the right went off on the bench, the one on the left wouldn't. When we swapped them round, neither of them would go off. Likewise, when we went around the other side of the church, same thing again. With what little wind there is up here, I'm not convinced that a wind would be blowing them.
No.
I want to make sure real quick that this one is turned on. Yeah. Stick him against the button. Yeah, he's not. He's moving about quite a bit.
It's like a runaway.
Yeah. You've just seen me light up one of those devices. Could you copy that for me? Do what I just did?
Imagine it was like one of them ones that just kind of reenacts what it was doing at the time. So then you have a spirit come in here, just doing its job. Like.
Yeah. Because when you said World War One, I am thinking to myself, like, if it's here and it doesn't know, like, its context is only context it has is the time it's in.
Yeah.
And it's going to go one. What do you mean World War One? And then it's not going to understand because to them it was the Great War. You've just broke the news of a second. Ah!
Right, sorry. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. We've done that one, don't worry. We won.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Like standing with my back to this door.
That's why I've shimmied this way a little bit because I was waiting for a... Hello? I'm still not a big fan, but the camera can only see so far.
Can you light up those devices again for us, please? Apparently not.
Whoa.
What? What do you see?
This camera's battery is, like, nearly depleted.
It is pretty cold there.
Yeah, that's true. We've been filming for... Well, it's been filming for half an hour. Doesn't feel like it. Right, we'll see this. This is the way it's going. I'm going to get that spirit talker out right straight away. So we have a device here that will allow you to speak to us. If you speak into it and affect the device, we may be able to hear what you have to say.
The child wants help.
Right, it was good. Cheers. The child wants help.
But then I suppose, when you think, there used to be the school up the road, like if kids came along here and fell off this hill.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how close a
That's
school...
reaching at straws a bit, but...
Yeah, I don't know how close a school was to here.
Well, because it was that big building, wasn't it?
It's
up the
quite
road,
far,
like,
though. It is quite far.
Said, like, that's the one that Rudyard Kipling used to go
Yeah.
in, and he used to come up onto the
Yeah,
onto the tour
tours.
and that.
Yeah, no, it is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah. Well, it's like usually because we don't think of stuff, do we, until
No.
afterwards, and then someone says something, and then we're just like, oh, yeah. So I'm just.
Yeah, like brainstorming to see.
Yeah.
No, I know
just
what you mean. I
trying-
mean, it could be. It's not impossible. We know that we know he did come up on the tour. So could someone have fallen? It's a possibility. Like, I've seen people
Oh, what's it say?
pulse.
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 If it is a kid that's fallen, the kid wants help and they're saying pulse.
Yeah.
Is that
Do they have a pulse? Or has it stopped?
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I think I know the answer. Unfortunately, I don't think we can help. But what we can do is if you tell us things, if you share messages with us, we can pass that on to anyone who'd want to see it. What would you want to tell people? See, this is what I'm saying. A medium would be interesting to have, like, come along to some of our investigations to see. But then also I'd want to test them. I'd want to keep them separate from the spirit talker to see if they sort of, what comes out of that matches up with what they say. Because as much as people might not like it, spirit talkers, I'm happy with it. Like, with things that have come through,
It has had some rather relevant stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are not going to like it. Just
I
like
don't like most
some
people.
it's like, you know, everyone's got their things that they think's bullshit.
Died.
So no pulse then. Sorry to hear that. Are they here with us now in spirit?
Do they have people with them to play? I felt a shiver on my arm then.
Is there any army officers here? Maybe you were on lookout or down by the prison camp.
Thompson.
Thompson.
That sounds like what would be a last name.
Yeah.
And obviously in the army they referred by the last names.
Was you in the army around this area?
Thompson, if that's your name, your last name, we're not soldiers. You don't need to give us your last name. What's your first name? We'll talk to you like a person.
One light.
We have. Just
Yeah.
yours.
At the moment, yeah, just the one.
You're able to talk to us. Are you able to interact with any of these devices for us?
We've got the K2, which has got one light lit
Yeah.
on it as well. We've got these other devices. You can also touch those and make them light up.
I have many regrets.
So do we all. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to speak with you.
Only all night.
Unfortunately not.
It is cold. It's about -2.
Yeah.
So
if there's anything...
Badly.
So he has things that he regrets badly? I'll say he as if I know.
why don't you interact with some of those other devices again?
We like talking to you, but if you push any of those devices or interact with them, that will help anyone else who sees this know that you're here with us as well. I don't know. I can't really pull anything from that. I don't want to start tying things together because I don't know. Like, I could turn around and be like, a soldier, does he regret leaving someone, or so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But it's too much of an assumption to make.
Yeah.
They killed me.
They what?
They killed me. Could you hear that?
What?
Oh, no. I think it might have been like an animal or something. It sounded a bit shrill, like.
So I wonder if, because I
If
can't
it was an
imagine.
Italian.
I can't imagine they killed anyone here, like
Well,
unless they tried to escape and they got shot or something.
well, the
but-
only thing I can think of is if you've got a prisoner who has died, like a prisoner of war who's just malnutrition, overworked, has died, maybe. And if they've got regrets, could that be? Obviously, the Italians sided with the Germans. Could that be part of the regrets? The fact that they had to do things. But then
Possibly.
we've been given the name Thompson, and Thompson is not an Italian name.
No.
Only other thing I can think about Thompson is the gun, but still, I don't. That was used by Americans, and I don't know World War wise what context that would have. But once again, I don't want to tie too many things together because you can never really be sure. Year,
Yeah.
yeah. What year is it for you? If you give us the year for you, I'll tell you the year now.
What was that?
Oh, car.
Oh, it's like Jesus. I thought it was like
I thought it was a knock.
yeah. I thought
No,
something was coming up behind us. I was like, oh.
No. Yeah, it's a car. Because it sounds like knocking from a distance, but it's
Yeah.
like picture being at home and then
Yeah.
it's just exhaust. And they like that around here. And then followed up by another big.
Got anything specific you want to tell us?
If there's nothing more being said, we can't state.
Dorothy.
Dorothy. Why is it whenever this said Dorothy in the last video, and I made a joke because it sounds unsure when it says it. He goes Dorothy, like as if it's questioning it. It did say her and regrets from Dorothy, but this says names a lot, so I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
what would you tell Dorothy if you could? Subscribe, maybe. I mean, if it was World War II, it was a young woman. I don't know. I suppose it's been too many years now. Person who could have been like a young person there could have been like what in their 80s now. No,
Yeah,
actually they'd be in the
older,
90s, so
yeah.
they'd be way too old. I mean, if they are still about, feel free to subscribe. I'm only playing. I don't mean any disrespect. If you do have any messages to share, feel free to do it.
Church.
Take me to church.
For once. Church, don't know what to make of that.
Don't know. I ain't gonna hang around here too much longer because it's
No.
freezing.
Yeah, I know.
So do you want to set any more of those devices off or say anything else to us before we leave?
If you set any of these devices off again, we may be able to come back up here in future, speak to you again.
We're going to have to leave now because it's freezing cold. So now's your last chance if you want to say something to us. Or interact with any of these devices. Just once more for us and then we'll be going.
No, I think that might be it.
Game over.
Right. The second the glove comes off, it does not matter what this thing says. Charming. I'm bored.
Bored.
Are you bored? Have you been here watching for a long time? When will you stop watching? I mean, to be fair, it said board as in, like, not board as in I'm bored, but board as in surfboard. But I don't know if I can really take into account the spelling.
Mm.
It would be interesting if we're just sort of, if it is like some people say, where it's just events replaying, if this is just two soldiers talking to each other, two watchmen,
Yeah.
talking about the person they left behind, or what church they're going to go to get married in, and did they hear about the kid who got hurt?
It's always weird, isn't it? It's like when I told you I used to get them EVPs in the apartment. And because I never was like, instantly thought, oh, it's ghosts. I was like thinking more as like, is it like an alternate reality that's picking up? Because it's just, because you could...
Wrong area.
Or in the wrong area. Yeah, you could clearly hear like two women
talking.
and a guy chatting, but it was like they were in another room because it was kind of muffled, so you couldn't make out the exact words, but you could clearly hear there was three people talking and like make out the occasional word.
I think the element that makes that idea interesting is that in this case, the time period we're talking about doesn't coexist now.
Right.
So what makes it interesting to me is that if it's an alternate reality, that doesn't imply that it's happening at the same time. Because it's in our past, in this reality's past, which is kind of what would make that theory kind of strange to me. But then, I don't know. I like the thing that makes more sense to me is the echo, Joyce.
Well, there's probably so much stuff that we just don't understand.
It could be a mixture of all of them, though. There could be instances where... Yeah. Or we could just be prattling about believing things, because that's just what people do.
But whatever the case...
There's something interesting.
There are things going on, because we've experienced them ourselves, you know, like...
Shuffles and
I've seen orbs with my naked eye. I've heard a woman's voice saying hello to the dog when I'm the only person in the house.
When I was a kid, I had... when I was very young, I was about 3 or 4... maybe 5ish maybe. I used to have every night, there used to be a woman that would ask if I was okay, if I had a nice day, and it said that, you know, when I was going to bed. And then one day I was almost like I just realised that wasn't normal, and I told it to go away. Never heard it again.
It's weird though, isn't it?
And when I told that to Mum, and all the years I've told it to Mum, she said that you and I had an auntie that passed away not long before I was born, who wanted to meet me, and thought maybe there's something there with that. But I don't know. Because this was before we moved to Devon, where we were in those mental flat things, you know.
Well, me personally, I've seen and heard enough things to know there's something going on. What it is, I have no idea. But that's why we do this, to see if we can experience anything.
Absolutely.
And even if you did, you still wouldn't know what it was.
No,
you'd just have more experiences to add to the list.
Absolutely.
I say we get off with this one because it's freaking...
Give it a go. Right. There we go. It's going promptly back the fuck on.
Alright guys, so that was it for another investigation, a bloody cold investigation. Didn't get a lot, but...
No, I mean, the cat balls, we had 2 separate cat balls golf, which I thought was quite cool. The Spirit Talker...
Get us down there a little
the
bit.
Spirit Talker was doing its thing as it does. It's hard to know how relevant it is, because naturally knowing somewhat of the history, I kind of want to link it up to things, which is hard not to do that. But it was still an interesting space. I would like to come back at some point, because I feel like there's more that could be done. Maybe when it's less cold, so cameras last longer and things like that. But it was interesting. When we go back and properly look over the history, it will be interesting to see, you know, it said the child wants help. If anything did happen where someone was injured or someone died, it will be quite intriguing to learn about that, given what was said. But I enjoyed it. It was a good one.
Yeah. Like, I could have stayed here longer, but it's just getting...
It is very cold.
It's just getting too cold now. Yeah. So anyway, guys, we appreciate you watching. If you can give us a like, comment and subscribe, we would appreciate that.
And before I forget, if you want to see any more of our investigations, I'll stick an iCard up so you can go and watch the whole playlist. And we also have been making our reactions, which we'd love for you to check out also. And nonetheless, we hope you've had a fantastic evening and you enjoy the rest of it. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.
Have a good weekend, guys. See you later.